All right, today's lesson, constructing a circumscribed circle of a triangle. So this will be the next lesson where we have one more construction to do. So make sure you pause the video and take notes for today's lesson. All right, so our new vocab term is circumcenter. And let's read through the definition. The circumcenter of a triangle is the intersection point. So again, we have some kind of intersection point, so things will be crossing, of all the three perpendicular bisectors of the triangle. All right, so we have some perpendicular bisectors. So recall what that is. So if I had a segment, let me just sketch out a segment real quick. If I had made a perpendicular bisector of this segment, I need to first of all cut this in half. So I have to have a line that's going to cut this in half, and it'll also make it 90 degrees. So remember, that's what we're looking at. So when we do this, let me show you what that will look like. All right, so we've already done the incenter, which was with angle bisectors, but this time we'll use a perpendicular bisector. So can you sketch this picture here? And this summarizes the parts that I was just talking about. You see that we have the 90 degrees in there. So these are perpendicular. The segment connecting here is perpendicular to the side. And then also the little tick marks are telling you that the sides are getting cut equally. So I know that this side has 3 tick marks and this side has 3 tick marks. So that means those two sides are going to be the same size. And you can see the same thing here. So the 1 tick mark goes with the 1 tick mark. So these two are the same size. Well, if they're the same size, they must have been cut in half. All right. So in order to create this, to find this point right here, and let's label that point right there. So when you make your notes today, this point right here is called the circumcenter. I'm going to try to write with this, but it's going to be really difficult. Circumcenter. So label it better than I'm doing now. But anyway, so in order to do this construction today, we're going to have to use a perpendicular bisector. So we'll have to cut each side in half and construct a perpendicular line through it. All right. All right, let's just copy down the steps for how to construct the circumcenter of a triangle. So step 1, construct the perpendicular bisector for each side. So that will look like this. So from each side of the triangle, we'll construct the perpendicular bisector. All right, that won't be too difficult, especially with GeoGebra. Second, the intersection point. So where these lines intersect, where they all meet at point D, that is the circumcenter. All right, I'm just going to hide the perpendicular bisectors. Once we've created it, once we found point D, then we don't need them anymore. So point D, this is the circumcenter. So that's the point we're looking for. Now, what's really interesting is in the incenter, we were able to construct the circle inside of the triangle. Well, on the circumcenter, we're going to be going on the outside of the triangle now. So now it's going to look a little different. So here's what the diagram will look like, and the steps are as follow. Construct a segment from the circumcenter to each vertex. So construct these segments. So construct this segment, then this segment, and this segment. And what you should see already, that these will be the radii of the circle. So this segment AD will be the same size or the same length as BD, and this will be the same as DC. But then once we're done with that, then construct your circle. So construct the circle to go, and it will go through each one of these vertices. It'll fit perfectly all the way around, passing through all the vertices. All right, so the incenter was when the circle was on the inside of the triangle, and now we're going to have the circle going around the triangle, passing through each vertex. All right. All right, let's go ahead and actually create a construction. So this one says construct triangle ABC such that we have some points here. I'm not going to use those points. I'll just kind of pick 3 random ones because I don't want to do your problems for you. But there we go. So there's 3 points. You would just use the coordinates that they gave you. I'm going to actually use the segment tool and connect these points to make a triangle so you can see the triangle. There we go. All right, and I'm going to hide my axes, and I'm going to hide the grid, no grid. All right. There we go. So it looks beautiful. All right, let's go ahead. Now recall first steps was we need to actually create perpendicular bisectors. Well, what's really nice is that we have a perpendicular bisector tool, so we can use this one right now. So the way I like to use one is just by clicking 2 points. So let's click on A and B, and you see how it's trying to find the center of where my second point is. So as soon as I click on B, it'll drop. There's a perpendicular bisector, and you can check to make sure that is correct. Let me see. Let's check these out. So I'm going to measure the length from A to D, and it says it's about 3.5 units, and I'll click from D to B, and 3 point. So we can see it's right in the middle. That's beautiful. Also, let's check to see if this is a 90 degrees. I'm just going to place a point right here for right now, and let's measure this angle. So I'll measure this angle, and as you can see, there we go. So we did the construction. This point is right here in the middle. We've bisected the segment, and we've made it perpendicular. So perfect. Now, I don't really need to do that every single time, so I'm just going to hide all those again. And now I'll create the perpendicular bisector from B to C. There we go. And I'll create another one from A to C. Perfect. And this is really interesting. These lines, they all intersect right here outside of the triangle. And that will happen. So here's the circumcenter. So this is the circumcenter. If I was to, let me change this triangle around. So sometimes if the triangle becomes like this, then it will be, oh, so this one actually, the circumcenter was sometimes inside the triangle, sometimes actually on a side of the triangle, and sometimes even outside the triangle. All right, so this will be in 3 different places. So I'm just going to leave right there on outside the triangle. And then I'm going to hide the perpendicular bisectors, because remember, we don't really need them once we find the circumcenter. And there we go. Now, from here, somehow my point got deleted. All right, from there, I'm just going to connect E to C. And then I'll connect E to B. And I'll connect E to F. And now I should be able to construct my circle from E right through C. And as soon as I get to C, look at that. It stretches all the way, so then it passes through B and F. So very good. So if this was the question, what's the location of the circumcenter? Well, it's right there. It's at this point right here. Your next question will be, what is the radius of the circumscribed circle? So what's the radius? So remember, if you need to find the radius, you can use the distance tool, and you can click on like E to C, and you could figure out what that is. All right, so that's what you're going to have to do today. I'll just rewind and talk it through one more time. So what do we do first? Let's go all the way back to the beginning. So first, construct a perpendicular bisector. Construct another perpendicular bisector, and your third perpendicular bisector. This point right here is your circumcenter. Then we're going to use that point to draw the circle around the rest of it. I hid some stuff, and I drew my circle. All right, not too bad. Good luck.